This is Angela with Danceable Thoughts, and since the summer is here, I say we let go of hear it tonight, use it tomorrow, and we'll get more of a summer vibe going. Let's call this Listen at Your Leisure and Let It Sink In. These are the Danceable Thoughts Summer Podcasts. So, of course, we're going to talk about things that will really enhance your educational processes, all those things that you're going to be doing with your dance team and your dance students. We're also going to talk person to person about how you can really use the summer to reinvigorate, re-energize, and refocus your energies so that you will be ready when that new school year starts. So let's start right off. I was kind of inspired by the Eat, Pray, Love title, and this is more like Eat, Read, Think. So we're going to start with eat. Okay, one of the things that I want you to do, this is the healthy part, is be sure that you find whatever fruit is in season and make sure you put it somewhere where you can get your hands on it all the time. It's probably one of the great achievements of our civilization, if you want to think about it, that we can get fruit in and out of season because they ship it to us from all over but there is something special about eating a peach in the summer, eating cherries in the summer when they are naturally, eating watermelon when it's naturally in season. So with just a little thinking on your part, if you will choose those fruits and vegetables and things that are in season, you're going to really benefit from that. It sounds silly, and I'm certainly not ever going to tell anybody about dieting or anything like that, but it's just one of those simple pleasures and simple joys. Summer strawberries, summer berries, those kinds of things. So that's a simple one. So that's one. The other thing I'm going to tell you that this is a true and proven thing from my life. I learned it from some sweet little old lady who passed the idea down to me, and I still do it to this day, many, many years later, is perfect for yourself a summer recipe that is some sort of salad or casserole that is cool. It's refrigerated, that you can keep it in the fridge, whether it's a meal type salad or it's a dessert, something that you can perfect, that you tell yourself you make it every year. You probably only make it during the summer, and it sits in your fridge and you go snack on it and you have it, you share it with your friends. It becomes whatever you share with your buddies if you have a get together, but it's a summer only meal, and it's kind of a mental thing, and I never really believed it until I started doing this now. I've been through a lot of changes, retiring from teaching, Jack going off to school, Jack not coming home this summer. And so even though he will not even touch this salad I'm about to talk about, my memories of making this salad always come back to this time when summer camps are over. I finished officer camp, I finished all my obligations. I have the time to enjoy chopping and putting ingredients together in my kitchen. It really just, it's more than just the taste of the salad. It's more than that. It is the time and the memories. They talk about that a lot when you're cooking with a relative. So I want you to think about doing that for yourself. So I'm going to just real quickly tell you what my recipe is. It's called it's chicken rice-a-roni salad, and you might be like, oh, I don't know about that. I am not going to tell you it is the most healthy thing you would ever see, because it came from one of those cookbooks that got passed down and passed down and passed down. So anyway, so kind of, and I will put this in the blog because I'm going to do a link party with some stuff, and I will have this out there. But you basically cook chicken rice-a-roni, and then you let it cool, and you have chopped chicken, and you do artichokes and celery, and I use red bell pepper, and then you put all these things together and then season it, and you make a little bit of a kind of a creamy sauce that you mix in just to give it a little bit of a stick. And then it's one of those things that the longer it sits in the fridge, the more the flavor pops. And so like I said, I'm going to put that one out there for you just for fun. But my real point is why don't you create something? Maybe it's a fruit salad. I know a lot of people grew up doing the sliced cucumbers and the purple onions in the fridge. There's just, you can tell I'm a Southerner in the way that I think about summer foods and eating, but I hope you'll try it. I hope you'll do that. My other thing about eating, believe it or not, is something that I truly enjoy, and I know you probably do as well, and that is going out to restaurants. Don't we all like to go out to restaurants? So I hope, and my challenge is, whether you have little people to take in tow or it's just you and a pack of friends, try a restaurant that you might not normally think, oh, it's super expensive. If you go at lunch, it's a little bit cheaper usually. Or you go early and sit, do the whole sit in a nice dining room, that kind of thing. Give yourself the treat, especially in the summer, of a leisurely dining experience. You are coming off of a school year where your dining time was defined by bell to bell. You might have been eating at your desk or something close to it. We used to all meet in the choir room and sit and eat at tables. Give yourselves the opportunity to enjoy the dining experience and try something you haven't done. So I'm not giving you any revolutionary ideas with these, but they are just certainly things that are worth thinking about and doing for yourself, because even if it's not the most glamorous 5-star restaurant, sometimes finding a little mom and pop place that is just like a little diner can really be affirming, because you get to do people watching, which is another thing that I absolutely love, is honing your powers of observation about people in general, not just about what, the alignment of that arabesque and are they kicking with, good technique and what's the problem, why are you falling out of that turn, but observing people interacting is going to be really refreshing and wonderful for you. And restaurants, parks, those kinds of things are great places to do that. So the next thing I want to talk to you about is reading. And I'm a huge reader. I can be honest with you. I did not like reading when I was a young person, and then it became just my escapism. So here are some suggestions, and I'm not exactly going to give you book titles, but more categories of things to think about. So, of course, there's all the amazing summer reading that's out there. I think it's awesome to get a fluffy, nonsensical book, whether you like comedy or you like, they used to call them corset buster romances, with the flowing hair and Fabio or whatever, that kind of thing. Those kinds of things are great to read. I like more adventure books. Some people like, scary books, that kind of thing. But as a different tack for your summer reading, I'm going to give you 2 different things to think about. One is, I think you should consider the reading that you were assigned when you were in high school. Okay, so when I'm going to date myself a little bit, but the books that were on the prescribed reading list when I was in high school were A Separate Peace, To Kill a Mockingbird, 1984, a book called Black Like Me. I'm trying to remember what else we read, but those are some biggies. I don't think I did not have to read Animal Farm, but different books like that. It's really very interesting now as a grown-up, and most of those you can probably read in a day or two, because a lot of them are smaller. Don't read Sound and the Fury, that takes forever. But you would be really surprised what you see in those books now when you read them as an adult, as a person who's teaching students, and you will have a completely different point of view about what the lessons they were trying to teach you by reading those books. You probably, I'm going to be honest, you were probably just like me. You're like, okay, what do you want us to find in this? Oh, okay, I'll find that. And what are you going to tell me that symbol is? Okay, I'll agree with that. That's very true of any time you're being assigned a book to read. But if you go back and read a book now that you were supposed to read, it'll get to you. My dear mother, to be sweet for a moment, my mother, the anniversary of her passing will be in about a week from next week. It'll be 19th. And she reread and loved To Kill a Mockingbird. And knowing how much she cared about that book made me read it later on in life with a different POV. I'm getting all verklempt here. But it's really important. The book that I actually think was amazing was A Separate Peace. I'm not even sure kids still read it. They may do it maybe in middle school. So that is one thing to do, and it will be enriching to you. Even if you skim through it, you're going to feel it differently. The second thing about reading that I would love to really encourage you to do is find out what your students are being told to read as their summer reading. Now, I'm going to be honest, this idea never came to me until later in life when my son was, a GT kid, and he had summer reading lists that he needed to do. Even if you weren't GT kids or a pre-AP, whatever, they wanted them to do summer reading. And I'm thinking, wowza, I need to read this from the parent point of view. I need to read this to kind of know what's going on, and I'm kind of interested in which way they're going to be steering them. And then ding dong, Angela, I realized that, well, a lot of my dance team kids, they are reading these. My students in my classes, they may not have actually done it, but some of them will have read. So it gives you a whole nother way to interact with them in a way that is different from your role as their instructor, their dance team director, their coach. So if you know what they're reading, and just ask them, because a lot of times it's a list. They've got a menu of things that they're reading. Find out, who's reading A Wrinkle in Time, and who's reading the Amy Tan book, and who's reading this one, and Mango Street. I'm trying to think of books that Jack read that your kids might be reading now. So it would give you another way to connect with your students in a non-drill team director way. That's just the easiest way to see it. And who knows what that might inspire for you and them in a creative way. And choreographically, it might be something you want to explore. So just a thought. That's my reading thoughts. And then finally, I'm going to say think. And summer is a time of you've got a chance to really slow it down. Don't react to situations. You can think about it. You can summarize. You can go back. You can think through the things that happened to you during the school year. I don't want you to dredge up too much, but instead of having to react in the moment to situations, now you can say, all right, action A happened, action B happened, and then I did action C, D, E. Well, what was successful about it? What was unsuccessful about it? One of those, dang, I wish I could get a do-over on that. There aren't going to be do-overs, but as Danielle Brazier-Rapp says, there are definitely do-betters. So prepare yourself mentally. Okay, if these things were to happen to me, here's maybe how I would handle it. And that's the blessing of summer. You don't have a deadline necessarily. You can think about it. You can come back to it. You can socialize, go to one of those nice gatherings with your friends, some pretty brunch, and go, hey, here's something that I want to talk through with you. I think this would be wonderful for you. Thinking at a pace where you're generating ideas instead of having to work instinctively and reacting to situations. So the more you can visualize a situation, the better you will be prepared for it when it happens in real life. Okay, not a biggie. Okay, the other thing I'm going to talk to you about very much this summer is the difference between setting goals and creating systems. And so I just want that to percolate. I'm not going to expand on that too much right now, but I think that one of our topics this summer is going to be about creating systems for the things that you do, whether it's the way you get yourself up and at 'em for the work week on a Monday, or it's the way your kids get prepared to get ready pre-performance. Creating systems and not just setting specific goals. Hey, I want to do this, I want to do that, but creating systems and really building that. When you have time to think through the possibilities, what's going to work, what's not going to work. So we're going to be thinking about that. The last thing I want to say about think, now this is a little bit self-serving, but I am going to put this out here. I would love for you guys to come spend a day with me. I'm doing on right now 3 different directors intensives. There's one on June 18th, there's one on June 19th, and then we jump to July 23rd. All of them will have some of the basic, just general information, and then each day has a specific topic. I want you to consider coming and spending the day here in Sugarland with me, and we'll start 9 in the morning, finish a bit around 3, and there is a fee. We'll talk about that later, but I want for us to start investing in ourselves and investing in our passion. That's what I'm doing. As my friend Caitlin said, the whole Danceable Thoughts thing is such a passion project for me, because I really want to enhance the way you are interacting with your dance students and your dance teams. So everything I'm doing is to help you love the profession in the same way that I do it. So if you decide to come to the Director's Intensive, know that you might spend the day with me, but you're going to have a lifelong pal whether you want one or not, because I'm going to be there side by side with you when the school year hits, and I'm going to be there for a reference. And the people that you will collaborate with, the people that you will meet sitting around my kitchen table and my dining room table, all in my little Danceable Thought space, are going to become resources for you down the line. We're asking our students to pay this much for camp and get this many hours and go do this and go do that. What are you doing to help yourself become the next step on the evolution of your progress to ultra amazing director dance educator? So what are you doing to help yourself evolve during the summer? So I hope that in some way Danceable Thoughts can be part of that process, because I'm certainly here to support you, and I'm certainly excited to share all these new ideas that are constantly percolating in my mind. So if you are interested in the Director's Intensives, just real fast here, the 18th is going to be rework the paperwork, the general topics plus rework the paperwork, everything from spreadsheets, lesson plans, things like that. The 19th is a really popular one. It's about working with the budding relationship between a director and an assistant, and how to make those that relationship optimal for the success of your team. And then on the 23rd, we're going to hit those topics, and then that's in July, that's a little bit closer, and we're going to really be focusing on your dance classes and things for you to do to get ready for the upcoming school year, so that I know that under the pressure of everything that goes along with the start of the school year, you will be able to focus more on the pressing notes, because we will have all these great projects and plans that you'll be able to roll out with your dance classes. So, like I said, this is just me and my thoughts about what we can do this summer together to make your school year everything you want it to be. But it starts by you taking the time to invest in yourself, invest in your passion. Well, this has been Angela with Danceable Thoughts. I hope you've enjoyed the first episode of our summer podcast series. Listen at your leisure and let it sink in.